Welcome to our third Coffee and Conversations event. This is our new series designed to help our donors and our constituents just get more acclimated to some of our staff and some of the people that are actually running the programs and things that you support, and to give you a chance to hear a little bit more kind of from an insider perspective about the work that's going on, the opportunities that we have before us, and also the challenges that we're facing, and just to kind of answer questions that you may have about our work. Today we have our Chief Development Officer, Hayley Mueller, with us, who will be talking a little bit about our fundraising arm of our work and talk a little bit about why philanthropy is so important to the work that we do and share some of her own insights. Hayley's been with the YWCA now for almost 9 months. And in that time has kind of redone some of the way that we go about doing our fundraising and reimagined the way that we can kind of continue to move forward in that capacity as we come out of this last couple of years of a pandemic. So with that, I will go ahead and turn over to Hayley. And I'm excited to hear from you this morning.
Great. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me today. As Chandler shared, I am the Chief Development Officer at YWCA Minneapolis. Been here for less than a year, but it's been a crazy and fun 9 months. And like so many nonprofits, YWCA Minneapolis really depends heavily on our partners in the community and on both corporate, foundation, and individual donors. So we are working hard to continue those partnerships and to make sure that those who want to support YWCA Minneapolis really feel connected to the work and feel connected to the programs and to the mission and to those that we are serving every day. So I thought I would start with a brief overview of YWCA and our program, so you can kind of get a sense for what your gifts are supporting. So we have four main business areas. First is our early childhood education. We have 5 centers across the Twin Cities providing childcare, early childhood education, and wraparound support for families. And so those sites are downtown, midtown, and then we also have a site at Abbott Northwestern Hospital, at Hubs in St. Paul, and at Ecolab in St. Paul. So we're serving almost 500 children every year and their families, and really doing a lot of services around those additional needs that family members might have, whether that's food insecurity or access to transportation or access to services to learn English or other kind of wraparound family services. We can help provide those. So that's a very robust, very fun program here at downtown. We hear them every morning getting ready and having breakfast and taking their naps and doing all of the fun stuff. So in addition to early childhood education, we also have a very robust girls and youth program. That also is spread pretty wide across the city of Minneapolis, providing after school services and programs. We do a program called Strong, Fast, Fit that really brings in sort of cultural cohorts. So kiddos and their families can learn how to cook meals that are healthy, how to do exercise and different activities to keep their bodies moving and keep them well, both in mind, body, and spirit. We have programs for young people who are at risk of being part of the juvenile justice system and really could use some support and some really strong adult relationships to help them hopefully avoid going down that path. Lots of just really incredible and empowering programs for young people, and opportunities to learn STEM and to really learn more about their bodies and learn more about how they can be their own best advocate. We also have a very strong racial justice and public policy team who really embodies our mission to empower women and eliminate racism. They are out in the community educating people about racial justice issues and the systemic challenges that impact our community every day. We certainly were called upon after the murder of George Floyd to help bring the community together and do some educating around the injustices in our community, and perhaps even more so what we can do about it. It can feel very heavy and it can feel very difficult to know what to do and what to say, and our team is really there for that. Additionally, we have a public policy arm that helps educate the community about the issues that impact women and people of color, so that we are really using our voice and our place in the community to help move the needle on some of those major issues. And then finally, we have, of course, health and wellness. So we have a very strong health and wellness program, including gyms, virtual classes, in-person classes. But we're really trying to lean into that focus on overall wellness. So looking at things like massage therapy, and other ways that people can come together to really take care of their whole self. We provide childcare for folks when they're exercising. Certainly, the pandemic has hit that piece of our work most in the most major way, because so we were closed for a long time, and so many people have really changed their habits around exercise and fitness and wellness. And so that continues to be an area of our work that we're really focusing in on and figuring out where our place is in the market and what the needs of the community are. So with that overview of our programming, it's really important to note how critically important philanthropy is. We couldn't do any of this work without people's generosity. So the way that our finances break down, about 35% of the funding that we bring in comes from philanthropy to help us run our programs. Programs like Girls and Youth in particular are very heavily funded by philanthropy, because there's not necessarily a fee for service. Those are programs that we are providing to the community. So we are raising money to make those things happen. A really good example of this is our Eureka program, which is part of a Girls Inc. national program. You may have heard of it. Girls Inc. is quite well known, really an awesome program. And Eureka is a cohort model for girls 8th grade to 12th grade. And they stay together all 5 of those years and really lean into and focus on STEM education. So many of these young women are being introduced to engineering and math and computer technology types of jobs for the first time in their lives. People in their families haven't had roles like that. They've never been introduced to those things. And so we have just this incredible program where we bring in women from all different types of jobs and work environments to really show what those kind of career paths can look like. This group also does a 2-week camp of sorts at the U of M every year. So they go and really dig into some of those STEM professions, which is really awesome. But where philanthropy comes in, we have several funders who actually fund those cohorts and make it possible for us to bring those women, women of the week is what we call them, to bring the women of the week in to talk about their profession, to bring those young women to the U of M, to make sure they all have a computer when they graduate from our program. All of those young women receive a computer to take with them to college so that they're well equipped and ready to go to be successful in their college career. We simply couldn't do that without our partners in the community, both individuals, corporations, and foundations, who really understand that programs like Eureka are inflection points for young people. They're sort of moments in life for some where they could take several different paths, and that this really helps them to take a path that's empowering for them, that introduces them to something different that they may not have known was a possibility, and helps really set them up for success going forward. So that's one of those examples. Another way that philanthropy really shows up in our work every day is in our early childhood centers. We are serving families from all different backgrounds. We serve families who have who are financially very stable to families who are not, who are really experiencing poverty and having trouble making ends meet, and mom and dad work multiple jobs, and things can be really challenging. And so we know, though, how critically important early childhood education is. We know that the first 3 years of a young person's life are very important for brain development, and that having a nurturing and sort of well curated environment makes a big difference for them to be successful and ready for kindergarten and school beyond that. And so YWCA Minneapolis is very focused on making sure that families have access to our programs. And so we have several donors and supporters who support scholarships for our ECE programs to make sure that accessibility is not a barrier, that we can really make sure that our programs are accessible to those who want to come and be part of our programs. Our early childhood is unique in lots of different ways. We do have an anti-bias curriculum that we use to really help create that environment of inclusion and welcoming, letting young kiddos learn that difference is a really good thing and we can learn a lot from each other and from where we all come from, and that we're all different, and that's a beautiful thing. We also have a lot of wonderful art programs. We have a large muscle room that's just right around the corner here. That's one of my very favorite places to just peek in during the day. There's nothing better than watching kids roll around in like these big padded, balls and things, and how important that sort of kinesthetic education is for young people. So the partnerships that we have with community to make that happen make all the difference in the world. And our families, we hear it from them over and over and over that this is really a family here, and that there are services for everyone, and that when they are in a place of need, they know they can come to the YWCA and say, you're providing my childcare, and we're really struggling with this other thing, with perhaps it's meal insecurity. Do you know somebody that could help us with that? And we're able to say yes. And so much of that is because of our donors and partners in the community who have just stepped up and said, we want to make sure that the people who are coming to you for care and for services have what they need, and that it's really high quality as well, that we're providing a product and service that feels really good for people. So to give you a little bit of a sense of the breakdown here at YWCA, which is unique in my experience in nonprofits, I thought it would be helpful as well to talk a little bit about how those philanthropic dollars come in. We are very fortunate to have incredible partnerships with foundations and corporations in the community. A significant amount of our philanthropic dollars come in through grants and through those partnerships. And I really want to emphasize the partnership part of that. We have very few people, corporations and foundations, who give us a gift and walk away. It's very much sort of this comprehensive and holistic relationship that we are really proud of having with our partners. A great example of that is PNC Bank. They, over the summer, partnered with us in a number of ways, including a project called Pianos on Parade. So we, along with several partners on Nicollet Mall, had a piano that came to us, an upright piano, not decorated, and our job was to decorate this piano. So as you can imagine, our early childhood kiddos got a real kick out of, painting their hands and putting handprints on this piano and really bringing it to life and showing the community here in downtown Minneapolis what YWCA Minneapolis is all about. And, we were chosen as one of their partners to do that. They came out and they brought news crews and played the piano for our kiddos. And not every organization has that kind of partnership with their funders. And so that felt really like a great way to celebrate PNC Bank, but also to celebrate how critically important it is for us and so many other nonprofits to have those partners in the community to help bring our mission to life. We can't do it alone. And I think that's, the most important message when it comes to philanthropy is that your gift to YWCA or any nonprofit is really helping to bring a mission to life and to bring programs like our early childhood education to the next level, and ensuring that when those kids walk through our door, or when the youth come into Eureka, or when our health and wellness members walk through their door, that folks are really receiving a high quality experience and that they're seeing the mission in action. And our goal as the folks on the inside here at YWCA is for our donors and partners to feel like they're part of it and to understand how grateful we are for your support, and that without you, we just couldn't do it. And so I want to just take the opportunity here today to thank you all for all that you do for us, and know that a gift to YWCA is making an impact immediately. It's really going to those that we serve. And that is a really powerful thing. I always say to my husband, I've been fortunate to work in nonprofits my whole career, but I say to him, even on my worst day, I know it's a good day because the work that we're doing is really, really important, and you all are part of that. So I want to just say thank you for that. But I've droned on now for a while, so I will answer any questions you may have about philanthropy or programs. We can go from there.
Great. Thanks, Haley. I really appreciate you taking the time this morning to come and share all that. And like Haley said, we'll open it up for questions. I know I've got a couple, but I want to kind of open it up to you, Jackie, or anybody else on the call if you've got some questions you want to ask.
You have questions. So Haley referenced the impact the COVID's had on the health and wellness, which I can see. I'm in there using the facility.
Yeah.
What I can tell you, because I'm like a silver sneakers person, so I actually have memberships at many clubs because I can. Other clubs are really busy. I don't exactly understand why, at least at Uptown, things haven't picked up, but it's interesting at this point. I feel concerned about it. So
me too. Yeah, I mean, me too. I think that's a huge question, Jackie, and one that we as an organization are really grappling with is sort of coming out of COVID. How does our health and wellness program need to look different? And what are the needs in the community? You know, some of it is attributed to, like, downtown, for instance. There are a lot of businesses that haven't come back. So some of our typical members in the downtown community, there just aren't the people. So that indicates to me, okay, we've got to kind of rethink our model in this site. But I think to your point, every one of our sites is different and in a different spot. So what I can share is that we are really in the thick of thinking about strategy and kind of what does YWCA look like going forward, and where are we really making our mark in the community and meeting the needs of the community, meeting people where they are, and what does that look like? I mentioned earlier too, the sort of leaning into wellness as a whole, that there are lots of different ways that we can show up that are unique and different from our competitors in that health and wellness space that really are more around wellness as a whole, spiritual wellness, mental wellness. How can we really lean into those spaces where our competitors maybe aren't? And is that kind of our place in the market going forward? So lots and lots of questions. It's a very good question. It's one we are certainly grappling with, but more to come on that. But it's definitely a very top of mind and ongoing conversation here. Yeah. Good question.
I can imagine that it would be.
Yeah.
It used to be years ago that of the three health and wellness facilities, that some generated more revenue than others and some kind of help subsidize others. Is that still the case? Are any of them actually, I mean, it used to be that health and wellness help subsidize social justice.
Right. I would say that no, that is not currently the case. Coming out of COVID, that model has not come back in the way that you would have experienced it. Yes. So health and wellness historically was helping to subsidize our direct service programs. But given COVID, it has not recovered financially enough to do that. And so we're leaning on philanthropy ever more to help really bridge that gap and keep these critical programs going and going strong while we're also working on some of these major strategy conversations. So it's a very unique time at YWCA, and lots of questions we're grappling with. But yeah, that's a big change.
My battery is low, and hopefully it won't. It's not that easy for me to plug in with my setup right here.
No worries.
Then I wanted to ask about the big annual event. I don't even know what it's called anymore. It used to be Circle of Women, but I know it's gone through some iterations. How is that going as a revenue generator?
Yeah. So great question. For a brief history, for those who don't know, Circle of Women was a luncheon event that we held. It was a fundraiser that was held for about 25 years. It was a very long time, really successful fundraising event. COVID happened, and like so many organizations, it really offered us an opportunity to kind of rethink, change things up, do something different. So last spring was our very first Empower Possible Gala event. It was moved to the evening at Quincy Hall. We had about 350 folks in attendance at that event. For a first event, it went really well. We were very, very happy with it. It's really meant to be a celebration of YWCA, really lifting up as well a couple of award winners. Our Woman of Power is honored at the Empower Possible event. And then we also started a new award last year called the Kate Berman Leadership Award. Kate Berman was our board chair who passed away unexpectedly during her board chairship in 2020, and really was focused on authentic and ethical leadership. And so we are honoring her by being able to lift up someone who exhibits those same qualities. It is our fundraising event for the first year. We're really happy with it. We are hoping that it continues to grow. Circle of Women was large. I mean, it would be anywhere between 800 and 1,000 people. We're not there yet, but we also know change is hard, and we're working towards that. But we've got it planned for April 27th of 2023, again at Quincy Hall. We would love for anyone who wants to join us to come. It will be very fun. One big difference this year is that we are also going to be celebrating our programs in a special way. So we'll be honoring a young woman from a girls and youth program, a family from early childhood, to really tell those stories of impact, because it's just so important for us to be able to tell those really wonderful and exciting stories and help people to see their philanthropy come to life. So yeah, so we're excited about the change, but anytime you change an event, people feel very connected to events, and especially if it's become a tradition. So anytime we change it, we know it will take a couple years for everyone to come around, but we're getting there. Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah.